Hi, I'm Charlotte with Freezer Meals 101.
And I'm Christy. Today we are doing Christmas dips. They don't have to be Christmas specific, but Christmas is coming, so we're getting ready for Christmas.
Absolutely.
You can freeze a bunch of Christmas appetizers.
So many, and we've been doing that lately. We did some bacon wrapped ones, and we've been doing a lot actually, because we did the Santa Fe spirals.
Yes.
Anyway, we are going to do a whole video on holiday appetizers and kind of group it all together. But for today, we are doing make-ahead dips. And it's well established. I love appetizers, so...
It's true. My appetizer repertoire grew greatly when I was introduced to Charla. And what's funny is you're very honest about them. If I mention something and you don't super love it, you're like, that's gross. It's kind of funny.
Well, is it the
smoked oysters?
Smoked oysters.
Growing up, we were not highbrow at all, and we would get a sleeve of Ritz crackers and some pepperoni or like a garlic sausage. But I don't mean like the good garlic sausage. I mean like the big fat ones that you would cut up for like pizza. And if you were being very fancy, you would open up a tin of smoked oysters and drain them. And so one night they were over and I didn't really have anything. And I'm like, I'm going to serve you what we would have had growing up. And she's like, that's nice. I don't think I can eat that.
Yeah.
Your husband ate it.
Yeah, he did.
He did, and nobody died. It was good. There's other times I've poisoned her because there's been celery in it, and I just totally forgot. Oh, I got these mustard beans. You should try them. And then she has a headache. And
that's true.
We didn't get in the hot tub because I wrecked that
I don't even know if we got to play cards or anything.
We had played a game, and you sucked it up for a while, but your head was just pounding.
Then I was like, okay, I gotta go.
Yeah. So they have to be Charlotte-approved appetizers, so you know that they're going to be good. I guess is where I'm going with that.
I mean, if you like smoked oysters on a cracker, more power to you. That's
I grew
awesome.
up with a guy in high school that put them on pizza.
Okay, I can't even.
That's what their family did.
That's so weird.
Oh, when we did our Thanksgiving video, our Thanksgiving sides, let's put a video up of our Thanksgiving sides. Because you could use those for Christmas too.
Oh,
hello.
That'd be amazing for Christmas.
Okay, the ladies in the South, in the American South, first of all, told us that our stuffing was not correct because it wasn't made with cornbread. Yeah. I had never heard of such a thing, but now I desperately want to eat that.
We have to try that.
But there was one lady from Texas who said if they were inland, they didn't put oysters in, but the people on the coast, or maybe her relatives in Louisiana that were on the coast, would put oysters in their stuffing. And I just thought that's so strange.
It's so foreign, but I mean, if you grew up on it, you might
like
there might be no other way. It might taste amazing. I don't know. I'm squeamish, so I can't get past like the texture thing. So it's not so much of a taste thing as a texture thing for me. So
we went on a little holiday I have relatives on Vancouver Island, and
we will get to the appetizers.
We'll get to the appetizers, I promise. You can move the slider. You can find it. We'll get there. I was visiting my cousin, hey Bev, and she had gone to her guy that gets oysters, and she's like, he doesn't get them from this place. Where all the boats are and they're stinky. He gets them from this place and they're fresher and they're better. And they were fat and awesome. And she breaded them and baked them in the oven. And they were on cookie sheets and they were just mounded. I mean, there was like 40 people in the house, but it was mounded full of oysters and it was so good. Oh my goodness. It was so good. So oysters have a place, but they're not in this video.
They are not in these dips. I can promise you no oysters in my dips.
No, that's true. So let's get started. What do we have?
Okay, so the first recipe that we're making is it's originally called Extraordinary Cheese Dip, and it was an Epicure. So Epicure is this company, they're Canadian, and they make these seasoning blends and spice blends and dip kind of things. And kind of their claim to fame originally was They don't add gluten to most of them. They don't add preservatives.
Like MSG.
They don't, there's nothing, it's kind of
the
more
good quality
natural.
spices.
Mm-hmm. And so this extraordinary cheese dip, which now is nothing like the original recipe really, but this...
Because you've Charlottized it.
Yeah, I've Charlottized it. But what it was based on was this epicure recipe. So from the company, they had this recipe, and it has the 3 onion spice blend in it and the lemon dilly spice blend in it. And the original recipe also called for the cheese, chives, and bacon. And I used to make it with the cheese, chives, and bacon. But the thing about that one is you have to use it within 6 months, and it needs to stay in your fridge.
I think I have some at home that I should probably throw out now.
Yes, you should.
Yeah.
And so I originally was buying the cheese, chives, and bacon. Like, again, this is like more than 20 years ago. I was buying the cheese, chives, and bacon and making it with all 3. But then I was finding like I was wasting, because eventually like I would keep mine a little longer than 6 months. But when it's been in there a year, you're kind of like, okay, really, I should throw this out. But it's not all used up. And there are other things you can use it for. It's good in eggs and different things. But I was like, okay, I have to stop buying that because I'm wasting it. And if you've been watching our videos for a while, I don't like to waste. No. So I had to adapt the dip and only use the 3 onion and lemon dilly in here. So what we are doing is you've got your brick of cream cheese softened, and you whip it up with some cheddar cheese, marble cheese, or a blend of cheddar and mozzarella. And so you've got about a cup of shredded cheese in there, some of your 3 onion and lemon dilly, and a little bit of mayo. The original recipe called for like a very large amount of mayo. Like I want to say maybe half a cup to a cup. It was a lot of mayo. I have gotten it down over the years to where I'm using about 2 tablespoons, if that, of mayo, because I just found it gross that it used so much mayo. So you whip all that together and spread it into a container. Now, if you're going to be cooking it right then and there, I sometimes use a loaf pan or just a glass pie plate and put it in the oven that way. But if you're making it to freeze it, which we are, then we use the foil trays that have the lids, and you want to just freeze that like that. And on the day you go to cook it, you can cook it either from frozen or thaw it first.
Is there any reason why you couldn't put it in a small freezer bag?
You could absolutely put it in a small freezer bag.
To save space in your freezer.
Yeah.
If you're getting close to Christmas, sometimes it gets pretty full in there.
It does. And I'm actually using my over-the-fridge freezer for my appetizers this year, for my Christmas appetizers, because we're making so many. And we need them because we're having all these holiday events. And so space isn't as much of an issue because I've chosen to do that this year. But yes, you could absolutely put it in a freezer bag and then transfer it into whatever your baking dish is going to be. And you serve it with tortilla chips or crackers.
Do you just reheat it generally until it's bubbly?
I just cook it until it looks done. Like, where it's like the cheese is melty.
This is what it's like coming to Charlotte's house for an event. She has a bottom and a top oven. They are both either at the same temperature or different temperatures, but there is a variety of things happening in there. So maybe if it's at 375, she throws it in there and she'll just check something else is already in there. Or at 425, she can throw it in there because something else is already in there.
Or 350.
Or 350, so this one has a lot of flexibility.
Yes, it does.
And it's delicious every time. It really is.
One of my daughters, we were just talking about before we started filming that I'm going to be getting these for one of my daughters for her stocking, because
It's her favorite.
Shoot, she does our closed captioning, so she might know now.
Now she knows.
Now she's gonna know what's in her stocking.
She's gonna know about Santa.
Anyway.
She's 21. It's okay.
Yes. So, but this is her favorite.
It really
this
is.
Absolutely her favorite. So, yeah, there you go. The extraordinary cheese dip that is really adapted. But, and if you don't have Epicure spices, you could get a dry onion blend you can get it from Bulk Barn. Not the same as dry onion soup mix, but like an onion, dry onion powder, not powder, but like flaky. And then for your lemon dilly, it's basically dill with some lemon rind in there. So if you didn't have lemon dilly, you could use dill and then maybe like a splash of lemon juice. Or if you want to get fancy, you could grate some lemon rind in there. And that's it.
That's pretty easy. And it is delicious.
It is delicious. It's one of those recipes where the reason that it has been around for more than 20 years is it's one of those ones where at Epicure's like a home business where they do parties in the home and have the catalog and those, that kind of thing, which is nice to support like people that are, have
in your community that are selling this stuff.
But at the parties, people would learn the recipe and then they would make it next time they had a gathering. And it's one of those kinds of recipes that everybody always is like, what is this? And can I have the recipe? And so that's how it actually spread a lot. And
everybody had it. It's kind of like the veggie pizza from Pampered Chef.
Totally.
That was like staple in the 90s.
Yes.
That it was just what you had.
Everybody knows how to do it and so in Canada anyway, or in our area, this is one of those ones where a lot of people know how to make extraordinary cheese dip. Not my version, but the original.
There you go. And if you did make it with a full amount of mayonnaise, it would not freeze as nicely, I think. Because you've reduced the amount. Mayonnaise doesn't freeze super well. It separates a bit. And so just the fact that you have such a small amount in there, it does actually freeze well. Spinach and artichoke dip is made with frozen chopped spinach that has been thawed and drained. And squeezed dry. 2 cups of sour cream, some softened cream cheese, mozzarella cheese that's been shredded, a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese, and then artichoke hearts that are drained and then chopped. You're going to add some salt and pepper, some garlic that's been minced, and a little bit of chili flakes. That's optional. If you like it spicy, you can add more. If you don't like spicy, you don't have to do anything. You want to just mix these all together, and you can put them in a resealable freezer bag and take all the air out of there. You want to take all the air out of all your freezer meals because air is the enemy. That is where your freezer burn comes from. That's where the frost gets in. And we want to make sure that we keep it sealed up nice so it's ready to go for you for Christmas. When you go to bake it, you want to thaw it, bake in an oven for about 40 minutes at 350 and serve it with crackers or pita wedges or some tortilla chips. You can also find this recipe in the Freezer Meals 101 membership club.
For the spinach and artichoke dip, we've got this tool. It's like a Pampered Chef tool that is a colander / measuring cup, and you can hook it onto your sink. It makes things like draining beans and that kind of thing easier, but one of the things the reason I bought it actually in the first place was because you can use it to squeeze out the water, juice, or whatever it is in your spinach. So if you've got frozen spinach and you need to drain it, that is the easiest way that I've found to do it. So yeah, that's just a little tip for the frozen spinach draining situation for your spinach dip.
If you don't have one of those, because I don't, I just use a regular plastic colander, and once it's been sitting there for a while and it's thawed, I take a cereal bowl and I press down into the colander, and it kind of fits the inside of the colander and it all squeezes at once.
Kitchen tips with Christy.
It is, it's true. Alternatively, there have been times where I felt like that wasn't good enough and I've literally picked it up with my hands and squished it. And then you have to fluff it back
Yeah, because otherwise it clumps.
It really compresses, right? But
And
I've totally done that.
the other thing with the spinach artichoke dip is for most of our freezer meals, we use like the minced garlic from a jar because it just saves so much time. And when we're doing like 100 freezer meals at a time, you obviously like those little things matter. It makes a really big difference over the course of 2 days.
For time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taste is good enough. You can't have all of the things that you want. If you want to stand there for an hour and mince your garlic, go ahead.
For the spinach artichoke dip, I do feel like it's worth it to mince your garlic. And today we're not making 100 freezer meals. We're making 4 dips. So it's very different.
We're going to mince our own garlic today. Look at us go. Awesome. What do you have over there?
Hot corn dip. And normally I make a hot crab and corn dip, and it's quite different than this one. But groceries are so stinking expensive this year.
That's true.
And so we have a video there. We have quite a few videos now of budget freezer meals, but if you're looking to save on groceries and all of that, you can check that video out. We also have a video that you can check out in our library that is on how to actually save a ton of money, like thousands a year, by doing freezer meals. Anyway, I am going off on a spiral thing over there, but that's why I didn't want to buy crab.
I'm worse, so it's okay. I'm not judging.
I know. We are just, when we get together, but that's okay. We're chatty and some of you like that, so it's good. But that's why I didn't buy crab and make my usual corn and crab hot dip this year, because
it was expensive.
It's like $10 a can, and I didn't when you add the cream cheese and all the things, I was like, that's going to be a very expensive dip. So I'm adapting, and we are doing a hot corn dip. No crab. Okay, you've got your can of corn, or you can use frozen corn. So 12 ounces of that. If you're using a can, then you're going to drain it.
You could use your little Pampered Chef tool.
You absolutely could. Then you've got half a brick of cream cheese, a little bit of mayo, not very much, just a little squeeze, some cumin, hot sauce, pepper jack or jalapeno jack cheese. I like things spicy, so I'm doing jalapeno jack.
And we can do spicy for mine too, because we can have grown-up parties. We can have grown-up things that are spicy that it doesn't have to tailor to the kids. This isn't,
absolutely.
I'm going for, we like spicy at our house, but our kids not so much, so,
Then we're doing some Parmesan cheese, some garlic, and again, we're gonna use real garlic cloves in this, green onions, some jalapeno, again with the spicy, and the original recipe, which I've already adapted quite a bit to get to here, but it called for red pepper, and red pepper would be way better. But I have yellow pepper.
I think it's going to taste the same.
Totally. But, you've got that pop of red with the yellow
and
corn.
And the Christmassy, right? And the green.
And so it would be more festive, and it would look better if you had red pepper. But I had yellow pepper. And again, we're talking about, saving money and using what you have and not wasting. And so we're using yellow pepper. It makes me a tiny bit sad.
Can I give you a suggestion? On the day of serving, plan ahead a little bit. And did you know that you can buy pimentos?
Yes.
I would stir a little bit of pimentos in there, or garnish.
Some kind of red.
Something red.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's
my suggestion.
Maybe.
Do what you want. If you're going to go that far.
Well, this is coming to your holiday Christmas party.
I'm going to go get a can of pimentos. Actually, they're kind of expensive, the little suckers.
Yeah.
But, if you're going to do that, I guess you could just put the red pepper
in. Anyway, today it does make me a little sad, but we are using yellow pepper.
We'll be okay.
And I will survive.
Because freezer meals don't have to be perfect.
No. And
they just have to be done.
Have to make sacrifices when it comes to, groceries.
Yeah, yes. And you want to have a nice Christmas. This is going to be a very nice, and really with it being corn and the cream cheese might be a little expensive, but there isn't
But
really...
it's only half a block.
It's only half a block.
And...
You can make two of them.
Oh. Yes, you could. You could double this easily because it's half a block. But
Or the other thing with the half a block.
So you take your other half a block. Now this would be fresh like on the day of. You do not freeze this. But
although you can freeze your cream cheese and still use it as if it's fresh. If you didn't know that, you can do that.
You are going to take your cream cheese, put it on a little plate, and squeeze some fresh minced garlic on top of that.
In a garlic press.
Yes. And then add pesto. That's it. 3 ingredients. So good.
Put a little cheese knife with it and some crackers. So good.
It's so good and it's so easy. And if it's one of those ones where like if you get invited to something last minute and you have to bring something, or if you get company last minute, you might have pesto already. And you might have
your garlic and half a block of...
Yeah.
What am I going to do with half a block? We aren't kidding. If you have stuff in your cupboard and you don't know what to make with it, you drop a comment down there and Charlotte will tell you the appetizer.
I will figure it out.
We're gonna have a whole video of play that game. Make that appetizer.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. That's a great idea. The last dip on this video is the buffalo chicken dip. This has kind of become a staple as well, or for our gatherings. One time we talk about Pampered Chef a lot because it's a big deal in our house. But I had never had it before, and I had a Pampered Chef party where the lady comes to your house and you sit around and eat the food, and she can show you how the things work. And I had not communicated very well with her, and I didn't understand that I had to buy groceries to make stuff.
Yeah.
And that she was gonna make it. And she said, "What have you decided for us to make?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Okay, do you have this?" She pulled a Charlotte. She had made this before, don't get me wrong. And this isn't the exact recipe. It's been adapted since then, but shout out to Melissa. But this is the story of how I got this chicken dip. And she said, "Do you have some cream cheese?" And I'm like, "Okay." And she said, "Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this?" And I had it all. Bam, we made it. She just totally...
buffalo chicken dip.
She just buffaloed us. It was great. It was really great. So this is a kind of a classic, and it's a no-fail, and people will love it. If you've never made this before, give it a try.
And you can up the spice or down the spice, but depending on how much of the franks that you use. And yeah,
Totally.
It's a great one.
So you have 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts, cooked and chopped and cooled, a package of cream cheese, an entire bottle of ranch dressing, 3 to 4 stalks of celery. Now, we've well established that Charlotte is allergic to celery, so we have converted it a bit to use water chestnuts instead in our house because that way she can eat it too. That's what we want. We want everybody to enjoy it and not get sick.
And the water chestnuts give you the same crunch that celery would.
And they're light tasting. They're not heavy. It's a really nice substitute. 3/4 of a cup of Frank's Red Hot. If you have it at Charlotte's house, she will make it either with the extra hot Red Hot, or she will just use more of it. It is hotter at her house than it is at my house, definitely. And then just a cup of grated cheese. You mix it all together. You're going to put it in your bag, or you can put it in a tin with the lid. And then when you go to heat it, you can thaw it, bake it 350 for about half an hour or until it's hot and bubbly. And this one's a great one to throw in the slow cooker for a couple of hours because it's sizable. It makes a big meal, or not a big meal, but it makes a big appetizer. You could divide it if you have more than one party to host or to go to and you want to take a smaller portion. And
we've doubled it today because we wanted for Christy to be able to have some, me to be able to have some, and we put them in smaller containers so that we can use them at more gatherings, basically.
Absolutely. That's totally true because a little goes a long way. But also, when I first started making this, I liked hosting and having it because I would get up in the morning and you look around your house at this party that you just had and you think, ugh, I have to clean all this up today. I am going to have buffalo chicken dip for breakfast.
Yes, I totally have had buffalo chicken dip for breakfast.
Yes.
We had this, one of our daughters had a birthday recently and she wanted an appetizer night for her, our kids get to decide whatever they want to eat for their birthday. And one of her like must-haves was the buffalo chicken dip for her appetizer night. But I was actually a little sad because there wasn't any left over. It was so popular that it was all gone.
It was all gone. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. It was.
And so the next morning, I did have lots to clean up, and I did not have the consolation prize
Of the leftover buffalo chicken dip for Charla. I feel like I should give her my old one because I'm pretty sure I took the last scoop out of that tin. It's so good. It's so good. So yes, put it in the slow cooker or do it in the oven. You can have it with crackers. You can have it with bread cubes. You can have it with tortilla chips. It's versatile and people will love it every time. It's so good. And it's in the club. It's in our membership club right now. So there are some dips in your repertoire now. Hopefully in your freezer.
Yes, if you stick 1 or 2 or all of these dips in your freezer before the holidays come, then, you know, New Year's Eve or friend Christmas gathering, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, whatever, you have...
New Year's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have these ready to go, and it's going to take also... one of the things I like about having all these appetizers in my freezer before the holidays, and I do this every year, but is that the stores get so busy, like the grocery stores and the parking lots get so crazy.
You try to find mini marshmallows on that last week of Christmas because everybody's making the confetti squares.
Absolutely.
You can freeze those too, by the way.
Oh, I am.
Yes.
And I always do. So we will have a holiday baking video for you.
Will.
But yes, I don't really have to go to the store very much. And that week in between like Christmas and New Year's, that again, the stores, like the grocery stores are crazy busy and I don't like crowds. So as long as I have tortilla chips, I am good. I know that we can have our New Year's Eve party and not really have to do anything because I've got all my appetizers made ahead and I don't have to go to the store as long as, and the tortilla chips, all I do is I hide them up in our room so that the kids don't eat them before the party.
It's true.
So,
it works. Now, if you are thinking about what you should get yourself for Christmas this year, or if you want to put this on your Christmas list, you have to look at our membership club. There's a link for it down below, and what it does is, it has these dips in it, but really what it does is it has meals in it. You can create a meal plan, and you put your recipes in this meal plan, because this is what you're going to make for your freezer meals. It will give you a shopping list, it'll give you a prep list, it will give you labels, and it does all of that heavy brain work for you because sometimes that stuff can be very heavy. You think about all the steps that you have to do to fill your freezer, and we take care of it for you. We take care of it for you. So give yourself the gift of not being overwhelmed this Christmas, all next year.
The gift of freezer meals.
Give the gift of freezer meals.
It's like the gift that keeps giving rather than giving them a freezer meal that you've made, which is also really good and kind, and yes, do that too. But you can give them the ability to make these for themselves, take their stress level down. This is a great one to give like your daughter-in-laws.
Give it to your kids. Kids, give it to your seniors.
Absolutely.
Give it to your seniors because they're living alone or it's just the two of them now and it's hard to cook every day. And so when you have them ready to go, and you can take almost any freezer meal and make it into a bunch of single serving freezer meals, and we can show you how. Then they're eating real food every day. They aren't having popcorn for supper. They don't have to cook every day, but they still get fed every day. So really consider this as a gift to yourself, a gift to the people that you love, and fill your freezer and really just take that weight off your shoulders because that's how we feel every day.
Totally. It's giving the gift of time and money saving and all of that, but it's giving it like over and over and over.
Yeah, it really is.
And
so really consider it. Have a look in it.
If we
it's
sound
the best.
passionate about it, it's because we are.
We are, and we do get feedback from the people that have bought it of how much it's changed their life, how much better they're eating, how delicious it is. Have we talked about how picky Charlotte is and that it has to taste
good? The
good?
meals are good.
Or it won't be in there. So I just really wanted to let you know about that if you haven't looked at it before.
We're going to put a video right there to those Thanksgiving side dishes. Now, I know Thanksgiving has passed, but those same side dishes can make your Christmas dinner a breeze.
Yes, they really can.
And
And they're delicious.
We enjoyed Thanksgiving so much more this year because everything was made ahead other than the turkey. So that took so much off, and we're gonna make pretty much the same for Christmas this year.
They're delicious, and why wouldn't you? And there are things you make for those big holiday meals that are the same. Like, it wouldn't be the same if we didn't have
sweet potato sweet potato casserole and that cream corn.
The cream corn.
And the stuffing and all the things. So check that out.
Absolutely. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and check out our links below. We'll see you again next time.
Happy cooking.